love and liberation. Emphasis on liberation. Okay, guys, I can clarify some things. So Veronica had went down there to sit at the desk to make some reservations to a restaurant called Stefano's for that night. And when she walked over there, the girl got a phone call and decided to put Veronica on hold in order to answer the phone, child. And she was the ever most hospitable, said, "How you doing? Good day," and all that good shit. But then she had this like nice nasty attitude of disdain when it came to Veronica. And when Veronica, told her she wanted to make her reservations and all this, that, and the third, she was like, okay. And then sat there and looked at her crazy, didn't tell her have a good day or none of that. Veronica was just like, "God bless, ma'am," and walked on off. And child, that is exactly how it be. Now, I haven't personally had those experiences, but I have seen it happen when I have my thoroughly, beautifully melanated friends with me, child. I've seen the way that they get treated way different when it comes to certain things and certain people in certain places. Redunculous. So, also, another quote or gem that was dropped as well in the conversation that Veronica was having with her friend that was doing the panel discussion. She was saying that her Nana told her that ancestors show themselves in your dreams to see their visions forward or something of that nature. And it references to parallels and it references to Veronica's nightmares that she's been having. So I guess somehow at some point, given that statement, is going to end up tying into how and why Veronica is having these nightmares and the back and the forth in between that time period and this time period that we see. So we flash to white Southern Belle sis that Veronica was on FaceTime with that was being nice nasty with her and giving her underhanded compliments about her lipstick and everything and how well she articulates and all that good stuff. So Miss Lady is at her door. Is at her sweet door. And she gonna tell the white privilege of it all, right? I knew something was there and it just came to me what it was. So white sis is at Veronica's sweet door trying to get in. And she turned around and tell the housekeeper's in the hallway. So white sis is trying to get into Veronica's suite door, and obviously she can't get in because that ain't her suite. So she turned around and tell the housekeeper that she left her key in the room and she needs some assistance getting in. So the housekeeper, without a thought, without a question, without a check and balance, let the lady in. Why? Because she assumed, successful looking white lady trying to get into the suite, it must really be her suite. But let that have been a black lady. Let that have been Veronica saying that she thought that she had left her key in the room and she couldn't get in and she needed some assistance. She probably would have went through all types of interrogation just to get into her room. Anywho, so white sis get up in there and sis is being just very nasty. She gonna go up in there, she done put the girl lipstick on, touching her stuff, touching her child's picture that she said she was going to put up there on her wall. Her child had done drew her a picture before she left the house, and she told her daughter that she was going to put the picture up in her room when she got to her hotel room. And so she got it up there in the room. And white sis is in there putting her hands all on it, putting her hands all over everything. I don't know what she there for. I don't know what her agenda is. I guess she worked for somebody that's been trying to shut Veronica up and shut her down. And child, she's in there just being hella annoying and extra. And it's like, for what, right? It's like, for what, right? I'm gonna say the rest of my thoughts on this particular exchange towards the end of the video. So we flash over to Veronica having a what do we call this? It's not a panel discussion. She's giving a speech. I think it's some type of she's an author, so she's showing her book, and I guess she's discussing her book, and she's giving a speech surrounding it and whatnot. And the speech that she's giving opposes what Eden is pretty much standing for and pushing for back in the past type shit, right? So Eden is speaking, keep your head down and your mouth closed, and the survival mechanism of going along to get along until you're able to do something different, right? But just accepting your circumstances in order to keep living and keep pushing. So what Veronica is talking about in her speech at her ceremony for her book is concerning basically breaking that curse and breaking that mentality and going against that whole mentality and that coping mechanism. I forgot the exact words that she used, but she was basically speaking on stepping out of that mentality. Anywho, so Veronica's speech that she's giving at her ceremony for her book is basically her speaking opposite of that, speaking of breaking out of that mentality and breaking out of that functionality in order to break down barriers, in order to do something different that has yet to be done. And it reminds me of the quote that says, well-behaved women seldom make change. And so basically that's the mindset and the initiative set that Veronica is speaking from. And it's very interesting to me, and I love the way that they are depicting that, because it is such a difference from the circumstance that Eden is living in and the circumstance that Veronica is living in. So Veronica is able to see it from this perspective because her time period and all of the things that the people in Eden's time period has went through and everything that they have set in stone and all the moves that they made has created a way for Veronica to be able to stand on the stage that she is standing on and be able to speak as she is speaking and do and practice and the things that she is preaching to her followers and the people that she is trying to reach and, you know, make a difference to. So I love that. I love that. And I may save that for a topic for the other video as well, to elaborate more on that whole mirroring and juxtaposition and comparison and contrasting, things of that nature. Character breakdown, if you will. So, anywho, as I speak on all of the barriers that have been broken down for Veronica to be able to do all of the things that she is doing, honey, so they get down to her reservation that she made at Stefano's with Dawn, who's played by Gabourey Sidibe. I know her name now. Dawn. Her friend Dawn and her friend Sarah. Sarah is the one that was having the panel about exercising the unconscious past. That was the name of her panel, child. So Veronica is down at her reservation with the two of them, and they get in there, and the hostess is trying to sit them over in a dark corner somewhere where they can't be seen. And so Dawn is already way ahead of it. She's like, oh no ma'am, you know you done fucked up, right? She didn't say it in that exact way. She said it in a very getting you together yet elegant way, okay? And let her know, ma'am, I see what you're doing here. I'm not gonna go back and forth with you about it, but you better find us a different seat. Matter of fact, you ain't even gotta do it because I got it for you. We are about to sit over here. You're sitting us over here. And they went and sat over in a well-lit area at a nicely sized table, nicely kept, okay? So they sat down, and mind you, this is a high-esteemed, posh, elegant, 5-star restaurant. And the waitress gonna ask them if they want to start off with some cocktails or whatever. And Dawn let them know that they are having some champagne. Okay, they're having some champagne. And I don't remember. No. The waitress asked them if they wanted some prosecco. Low balling them, child. Low shelfing and low balling out here. And Veronica yells out, I forgot the name of the champagne that she said, child. I don't speak French all that well, but it was some French high shelf shit that she said. Shut it down real quick. Thank you. Okay, showing the microaggressions, okay, that even still, and this lady done everything that she done and made all the money that she done made and put in all the work that she done put in and all this and that and being who she is and all this and that, and y'all gonna still walk up in here and low shelf, low ball and try to sit her in a dark corner and this and that because she black, and her friend black. Boy, I declare, but I know that's the point of the movie though, to show you how ain't much change, and if it did change, it just changed the method of how they do things. So they over here having a dinner or whatever, and they discussing men. So they over here at the dinner or whatever, they done got their champagne and all of that, and they discussing their men lives or lack thereof. But Dawn lets us know that she got a prospect dude that she gonna take out on a date or whatever, and he got a friend for Sarah. And she said she ain't even much met him yet, don't know too much about him, but she got a friend for Sarah, and they gonna get hooked up. They trying to, okay. So they discussing this and that and whatnot, and the waiter come over and he bring a little cocktail or whatever, like a little vodka and cranberry. He come sat there next to Dawn and was like, the gentleman over there wants to send this over here to you. And she said, I know you fucking lying. She said, come on over though. So she's smitten, but at the same time, she had to set him straight. She said, look at Cat Dad, I know you can lie and send me over here this vodka and cranberry, honey. We is champagne girls. Now, she didn't say champagne, I'm saying that. But she said, we are champagne girls, okay? And what you should have done was ask the waitress what we were drinking. And when she told you champagne, you should have asked her what type of champagne was we drinking. And when she told you what type of champagne we was drinking, you should have told her that you wanted to send us over a new bottle, okay? A second bottle, a second round to come over here, okay? Now, that's how you do it. That is what we accept, okay? But I'm going to hand you my number, and we can talk about it. You make eye contact with me. You come over here, you speak like a human, okay? I'm a lady. Whoa, whoa. Okay, that's what she was giving. Treat me like somebody. Okay, so they both scoot and book out of there. Then they got litty and whatnot, and they happen in their cars to depart. So Veronica is going in one car, and Dawn and Sarah is going in another, because Veronica is trying to get back to her family. Child, she get over there in the car. The radio is blasting, and then she getting a phone call talking about, oh, this your Uber ride on my side. I'm waiting on you and all this and the third. She's like, girl, I'm in my Uber. What is you talking about? And the girl like, what is you talking about? I'm outside. I'm waiting on you. And she's like, girl, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm already in my Uber. I don't know what you're talking about. Can you turn the radio down? And the motherfucking driver refuses to turn the radio down, child. So they back here going back and forth like, girl, I don't know what you're talking about. Girl, I don't know what you're talking about. What I'm talking about. What I'm talking about. All of it. And lo and behold, Veronica is starting to have enough. Like, what the fuck? Like, can you please turn the radio down so I can figure out what the fuck is going on? Then she realized that the driver is white sis that had done broke up in her room that was talking about her lipstick. And they appear and some man in the back that is the same actor as her slave master in the past when she is eating. I hope I'm doing a good job at doing the differences of the characters between the time periods and all of that. But the guy that is playing her slave master is also playing the dude that's choking her out in the Uber with Whitefish, driving the car that done broken her room and was talking about her lipstick and put her lipstick on, child. It's all the same people. And which, before that happened, she was texting her husband and thanking him for some flowers that she had got. It turned out he ain't even the one that sent the flowers. So now I must infer that the person that sent the flowers is Whitefish that's intruding in on her life and being shady and done about kidnaps her in the Uber. It's some other stuff that happened in the scene. I'm not sure if it's worth talking about yet, but we're gonna see. Going forward, if it wraps itself back around, I might talk about a child, but that's all that happened as far. It done flashback to Eden. So we're gonna see what Eden putting down, what Eden going through now. Now, darling, out of Claire, we flash back to Eden, and my world commenced to being rocked. So we get back over here to Eden, and her master gets up to go answer his phone. And I knew something was off. I don't know why I didn't catch this in this moment. But he gets up to go outside and answer his phone. And now that I'm thinking about it, this man was on a cell phone. So he having a conversation about the ballots, and I couldn't quite put together whether or not he was upset because somebody rigged the ballots and he felt like that was the reason why he lost or was losing, or if he was upset because somebody didn't rig the ballots and that's why he felt like he was losing. So I guess he started trying to like set somebody up or whatever, some black person I guess that he wants to set up because he feel like they in his way, as he said, mouth the darky. That's what he said. That was his words. So I guess somebody is a black person is spilling his tea and he wants them to be dealt with. All right. So Eden overhears this conversation and she goes back and she has like a little breakdown moment in the bed. And she continues to play like she sleep. So he comes in and whatnot, and he's saying her name, calling her name, and she, act like she don't hear him, act like she sleep. And he commits to sit there and talking about nobody's gonna take you from me. They're not gonna take you from me, and da da da. And my thought at the moment is just like, what in the I love you so much I hate you type shit, because that is what racism gives and what racists give. I love you so much that I hate you type shit. I admire you so much that I hate you. I feel like I need you so much that I hate you. I resent you for making me better or whatever. I resent you for being what you are, which makes me feel small or some shit like that. Real twisted shit, right? So they having that exchange and shit, and the next morning, they flash back to the field. And Overseer is looking for Julia. Talking about, oh, now she thinks she could just come out here whenever she get ready. I let her get away with it one time, and now she just thinks she can do what she want. So Eden is sent to go get Julia, and they talking about what they're going to teach her, listening, this, that, and the third. So Eden goes to get Julia, and child Julia done took herself up out of here. Rest in peace, Julia. Prayers up for her loved ones. But now, child, I'm making this as as humorous as I possibly can, but that's some real shit. It's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because, you know, she was being loud and shit and being rambunctious and, you know, being told to shut up and wait and all this and that. And it's like, what did they get her? Because she wasn't doing that and it could have got her killed. Or, you know, her talking and, you know, being verbal and things of that nature got her abused and all this and that. But even when Eden is keeping her head down and her mouth closed, she still gets abused. So it's like, damn if you do, damn if you don't. So, you know, it starts to have these feelings like, maybe I should just go. Maybe shouldn't just not be here at all. So, very understandable as to how Julia got to that conclusion, or anybody who would be in a situation like that. You know, even just an abusive relationship could get to that conclusion. And so, of course, this shakes Eden the fuck up and basically triggers her to be like, okay, no more time to waste it. It's time to get it in gear. It's time to boot, scoot, and boogie and get the up out of here. So she tells your boy Eli, which is the young lad that's been popping up at her door like a creep. Like I said, it was like a creep. You keep popping up at the door, like a stalker or whatever. Even though I understand perfectly why he's popping up. I don't think he's a creep or a stalker or anything. But she tells him, tonight, you're doing this now. It's time to get it. It's time to boot scoop. So put him on gang shit, and then she getting ready. It's like Mulan when she was getting ready to go to war. That's about like what it was. Except Eden was in there with her edge, with her edge gel or whatever. Well, edge control, slicking her hair back, getting ready, getting prepared to go to war. So we see her that night. Now, also, remember I said Veronica had a picture that her baby had drew her that she took with her on her trip, right? So maybe 2 or 3 times throughout the movie, and in this era, what I'm talking about as well, we see Eden like sitting down next to a chester of some sort, and she's like rubbing on the wall or whatever, but you can't really tell what she's rubbing on at first. And so in this particular scene, it's revealed that what she is rubbing on is a child's drawing on the wall, on the bottom wall up underneath the chester. So I'm thinking like, oh, so Eden had a baby and all of the shit. Like, damn, well, parallels. Like, damn, how this going? So I'm like wondering like what's going on with that type shit. So that night, hello. So that night, she's like in her bed, and it keeps occurring to me. Now I'm gonna have to do some research, and I'm gonna include this in the other video as well. I'm gonna do a lot of research. There's a lot of things I gotta clarify, and certify, and put together. Okay, because like I said, my mind got blown when we got to the last act of this here movie. So we get to that night, and I'm just noticing like, bro. Well, I guess that's her dad. That's her dad. Okay, so hold it though. But I'm just up here like, bro. Again, I love you so much that I hate you, because if these darkies and all of that is so like repulsive to you, why you keep ending up in her bed every night? Why is you up in her bed every night? It's not making sense to me. If you don't like her, then why you fool with her like talking about like this her? So much to be unpacked and discussed right there. But like I said, I'm gonna save that for another video. But anywho, so we get to the night, and you know, he and her bed and child, she started doing acrobatics and ballet to get up out the bed and, you know, creep past everything, because she done mapped out what wooden boards on the floor, okay, you know, the floorboards, that's what they call. She done mapped out what floorboards creak and squeak and which ones don't. So the way that she's moving amongst the floorboards and flipping herself out of the bed or whatever is what she's mapped out, so that she is able to sneak out of the bed and sneak out of the house without making any unnecessary noises, bumping into anything, brushing him, or anything like that to bring any type of attention to herself or wake him up. Pretty cool shit. Pretty cool shit. And I love the way that these types of movies incorporate dance and music and all of that. I like the incorporation of that. So moving forward, she gets outside and she gets to the post where her and Eli is meeting for them to make the break type shit. So this is where I'm like, where? Because at first she thought that he went out there. Then she kind of starts to have like a little mini breakdown, because she thinking that he done bailed out or something that happened to him type shit. So he starts whistling, lift every voice and sing. And I'm like, was that song a thing during that time period? So okay, they meet and they have their little reuniting and shit like that, and then they hear somebody coming, and so they bow out and duck off behind the building and whatnot, right? So It's the master's son and his little friend. I guess they supposed to be going and everything, but they stumbling through drunk and shit, and they find the cell phone on the ground. And I'm like, cell phone? Is that a cell phone? That's a cell phone. A smartphone at that. Touch screen. Look like my phone. That's a cell phone? I ain't no cell phone. That's a cell phone? Because even before then, I knew I had seen a plane up ahead. And I'm like, a plane? A plane in this time period? Ain't no planes in this time period. Like, what time period? What world are we in? Because I was wondering, is this an alternate universe? Or is this real life set back in the day? And so I find it's some shit going on. It's a whole goddamn modern day concentration camp going on because somebody just can't let it go. Just can't let it go. Just can't take. Got a bad sense. I can't take. Can't take all the black excellence that is blooming into the world. And it has been bloomed into the world and done had to start a whole commotion, a whole concentration camp to hold folks back. Boy, I declare. So they pick up the phone or whatever. They had this old little stupid drunk exchange like, oh, you know you ain't supposed to have cell phones. What are you doing? Da, 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 da. And so while they don't really take it serious, they just move on like nothing happened. I guess they just not thinking that anybody would be trying to get away. Anybody would be, you know what I'm saying, had a cell phone, this, that, and third. But they end up over in the grasslands, okay, over out in the field. And they looking at the moon because one, Daniel, the master's son, thought that he had heard something, okay, but of course it was Eden and Eli over there in the bushes, ducked off, hiding and whatnot. And so he was over there looking for them, and his little friend come up talking about, oh, you spooked by the spook? Derogatory. Derogatory. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it in another video, but that's what he said. And he like, nah, but you know what I'm saying? Look at the moon and all that, this and that good stuff. And in this moment, I just realized too, like, okay, you keep letting your homeboy play you. You keep letting your homeboy sing you. But when it came to old girl who was just trying to show you some love and affection, and be nice to your little ugly self and relate to your little ugly self, you want to put the pause on it because it made you feel strong. But you ain't gonna put the pause on your homeboy. You ain't gonna put the pause on the man that's standing up here playing you and jonesing you and sunning you and carrying on. Okay, I see you, buddy. I see you. So they up there doing that. He said he gonna take a leak. And I guess his little friend had walked out, child. Or Eli put the paws on him and knocked him the fuck out the same way he knocked Daniel the fuck out. He knocked your boy Daniel the entire fuck out. They tag teamed your boy. They took him up out of here. They took his weapon and they bounced the fuck out. So they get the phone back, get over into the corner or whatever, ducked off, and she trying to call the police and shit. And in this moment, I'm like, child, what the fuck is going on here? What is going on here? This is before I realized that it was, but this is still what I'm thinking. I'm just like, what is going on here? We calling the cops. Calling the cops on the cell phone? What are we talking about? So then she started talking about, oh, ain't no service over here. We got to find someone with some service. And then we got to get his face to unlock the phone so that we can send a pin and get them to come help us, come save us and all this and the third. So, they making their way up into the room. I guess they thinking he's still asleep. So they making their way up into the room. As soon as she open the door and stick her head out, he grab a child. And a fight ensues, honey. Throwing her around. She swinging. He swinging. He done bust in the face. Eli come out of nowhere. He throwing them balls. He throwing them thunder cookies. He throw your boy down. And he gets slung around. He gets stabbed, jabbed, and axed in the chest. Took your boy Eli up out of here. They did not have to do that. Now I know it's always somebody that you love in the movie that ends up getting off and shit. They could have just left that at Julia. I know we probably didn't like Julia that much because she came in kind of annoying, but I understand Julia. I don't dislike Julia. I got no hate for Julia, but I don't think that she was supposed to be just like really a likable character like that. I don't think the writers really wanted you to like her that much, but they made sure we liked Eli. Okay, and then they took him up out of here. Disrespectful. So, what's your name? Snap into action. You know how I be. You know how I be, especially in the black movies. They friend get killed and then all of a sudden, they powered up. They got all the strength in the world now. It's what it is. It's motivation. It's ambition. So she powered the fuck up and she ended up overtaking the master, busting his ass, taking his ass up out of here or whatever. Well, she didn't kill him just yet, but she put him on his ass and she whooped his ass real nicely. She said, open your motherfucking eyes. Open your motherfucking eyes. So he could look up in the phone and unlock the phone so she can get up in there and send the pin. So she got up in there and she sent the pin. After she called her husband. And he like, bro, everybody's been looking for you. Everybody's been worried about you and da da da. And I'm like, what in the Proud Family? Because that's what it reminded me of. It reminded me of the episode of the Proud Family where they took Sugar Mama and was it Sugar Mama and Poppy? But Sugar Mama and Poppy, or it might have been just Poppy, that they took to the old folks' home and they was in there abusing them folks, had them working in the fields, picking cotton and carrying on. A whole mess. That's what it reminded me of. But so yeah, they like, we've been looking for you and da da da. Boy, I had to take a deep breath because I was terribly upset. So she has to motherfucking get gone. She put on the master's vest, master the senator, who I find out he is, put on his little overcoat thing, and I'm like, yeah, God, you're the captain now. So she hop on his horse, and she gallop along, trying to get free or whatever, but she hears some folks outside, she hears somebody else, she hears gunshots, child, and it is the broad that was scoping the gals out like puppets, the broad that was up in Veronica's suite, and child, that's what we got too, child, that's what we got, that's what I forgot to tell y'all, okay, that's what I forgot to tell y'all. When she got on the phone, she said, this is Veronica Henley. So y'all, like I said, it's the whole goddamn concentration camp that they done abducted people. They done abducted black people, outspoken black people that was out here making changes in the world, and put them in this concentration camp called antebellum to enslave and abuse them and teach them a lesson. So that's what that whole exchange was at the beginning. You know, I thought it was assimilation, but you know what I'm saying? That's what that was, just a whole fucking mess. And I knew too that when old girl white sis was up in when white sis was in Veronica's suite, and I saw her pen had the same thing on it that Eden got branded with in the beginning. So child, let me go back to the fight real quick. When Veronica took out the master, she said to him, my name is Veronica, bitch. Never mind who you thought I was, it's Veronica, bitch. So yeah, so when she got on the phone, she says Veronica Henley and all this and then the third. So here we are confirmed that Eden is Veronica and Veronica is Eden. The past is the present and the present is the past. And all this is happening right now. This ain't no motherfucking 19, nothing, no 18, 17, 16, nothing. It was set in the modern day. 2020 is when the movie was made. And I'm up here just distraught with the shovel, mind blown. But I kind of like how they did that. Though I do feel like it would have been, I don't know, I feel like certain things would have been better had they started off with Veronica, but at the same time, I think it worked best for the twist that they did it, how they did it. I just wish that there would have been a bit more of a back and forth, because it makes certain things confusing. But I'm gonna say that. So she's galloping off, and child, Whitefish is chasing her. And this reminds me of Lovecraft Country with Christina. And we had a face off with the women. Okay. So we got, I'm gonna call her Redhead Christina because I really don't know what her name is in the movie. But Redhead Christina is chasing down Veronica. Okay, shooting at her, saying all these derogatory things, telling her that she ain't shit, and also expressing how she got all of this resentment and anguish towards Veronica because her daddy wanted Veronica specifically. She got to choose every other slave, but her daddy chose Veronica because he wanted her so bad, and all this, that, and the third. And honey, that just sounds so disgusting. This movie is disgusting. I appreciate the message that is given, but as it concerns everything that the character, especially the main character, has had to go through, and all the other black characters had to go through just for them to get an ounce of redemption at the end. Now, granted, that's it is correctly paralleled with reality in that sense. You know what I'm saying? How it's like they have gone, you know, our ancestors went through all of that agony and all of that strife for that long ass time, for it still to be so much that has not changed about the laws and not changed about the Constitution and not changed about the way that people socialize and view people of color, let alone black people. It fits it. But child, it make you mad because the whole movie. But I guess that's also why I can't complain about the arrangement of it, because we did get quite a bit of Veronica at once. But still, this girl, child, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this recap and review, and I'm gonna have a whole nother video to do a analysis and more elaborative discussion on the things that I see, think, and feel that happen in the movie. But to finish it off or whatever, and sum up this this Eden, sum up this ending. So, needless to say, Eden ends up whooping the gal's ass, lassoing her up the same way that the black girl in the beginning was lassoed up. When I told you they lassoed up, had her by her neck and dragged her by the horse, that's what Eden ended up doing to redhead Christina, and commenced to dragging her very fastly on the back of the horse and slammed her headfirst into the Robert E. Lee statue slash look like grave site that was out there in the middle of the woods in the yard. And then we see her ride off. Oh, I forgot to say that she also tricked the other masters, the overseer, tricked the overseer into following her because she's like, oh, he's been hurt, I need help, da da da. And she lured the overseer over to where she had them put the master over in the chamber, the burn chamber. I don't know the exact name of what they call it, but it's a burn chamber that she had to put the master in. And she lured the overseer over there and, tricked him into going in, closed the door behind them, and lit they ass a whole blaze in that bitch. Lit they ass a whole blaze in that bitch. Which is also reminiscent of what they ended up doing to the black girl in the beginning. They had put her in there and burned her to ashes. And we found that out in another scene of the movie when Eli was sent over there to clean it out. And that was their way of humbling him and revealing to him, like, yeah, you talking that shit, but look what we did to your girl. And he found her necklace. I guess it was a necklace that he had given her. He found it, he put it on. And when he passed away, when he got killed, Eden took the necklace off of him. But so, yeah. When Eden rides off after killing redhead Christina, she rides off into town, and everybody is like at this fair or voting fair or something of that nature. They having some type of carnival or some shit out in town, and I guess everybody sees her like being freed from the plantation. It's another movie. It might be a cartoon or something. I can't think of what it is. I'm gonna have to I guess I'm gonna have to say that for the other video too. But it's another. Oh, it's Trafficked. It's Trafficked. It's a movie, Trafficked. If you haven't seen it, I advise you to see it. It's very triggering. It is very upsetting, but it's a good ass movie, and it does have a good ending type shit. But this reporter gets abducted, and she gets sent into sex trafficking. And when she escapes, when she like runs out from where she escapes from, and she just runs, and she realizes that the camp that she was being kept in to be trafficked was right behind the gas station that she got kidnapped at. And when she ran out, when she was escaping this situation, it was like, I don't know, it's like a similar scene. But so yeah, if you've seen the movie, then you know what I'm talking about. But that's how it looked when Veronica rolled out into town and everybody's looking like, oh shit, this was going on. So what I'm able to deduce from everything that I just saw, because I'm still kind of confused and processing certain things, is that, like I had mentioned before briefly, a lot of outspoken black artists and prominent black people in the world of this movie have been abducted and put in a concentration camp, if you will, called Antebellum, located in, and I don't know why I didn't think of this state, Louisiana. And it makes sense too, because that's the other state that I could not think of at the moment. I said Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, and completely forgot to say Louisiana, and they right next door, child. And it makes total sense because they still have a lot of those antebellum plantation mansions still built. I know down here in Mississippi, it's still a lot of fields, cotton fields, and things of that nature, and a lot of large houses that look like they were once, or look like they could have been a plantation home, or a big house at a slave plantation. They look like they could have been a slave. They look like they could have been a slave plantation mansion, but they don't look exactly like that. But the ones in Louisiana still look exactly like that. A lot of them still look exactly like that. So it makes perfect sense that it was set in Louisiana. Child, wild. 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 But that's all I got. I ain't got no more. Well, I got a lot more, actually. Like I said 1,000 times, I'm just going to end up saving it for a analyzation and discussion video on this particular movie and all of the themes and other symbolisms and nuances and shit like that that I seen and noticed in the movie. Overall, I think I would give the movie a on a certain level, I want to say 3.7, but I also feel like there are certain things about it to where I have to at least give it a 4.3. A 4.3 out of 5 star rating. I like how it made me think. I like the things that it made me think about. It's just certain fundamental things that were off to me. but the acting was impeccable. And also, with it being modernized, I gotta apologize to the actress that plays Julia, because I was like, why she sound so modern? Why she sound like that? That don't make no sense. My ignorance. So yeah, the acting overall very good. The character development. I want to say that the actor's character development is better than the writer's character development, because the writers didn't give us a whole lot of backstory on any character, or really on too much of anything. It gave us a brief backstory as to where they were and what was going on and why, but all of that came at the end. Like, most of the movie was spent like, okay, what is this? What's going on? Like, questioning, which is good. It's just too much was revealed at the last minute. It moves kind of slow, but it moves at the right pace at the same time. But certain things that are revealed is revealed way too late. And then certain things don't ever get revealed, which has its pros when it comes to being a psychological, philosophical thriller. But when it comes to being a movie, it kind of drops the ball a bit. But it's not bad. It's just certain things I still have questions about, and that I can't exactly put a pin or a finger on just yet. But I'm gonna stop rambling and go ahead and leave it here. I appreciate you all. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I shall see y'all in the next one. Light, love, and liberation. Emphasis on liberation.